Let's get ready for the Utah real estate exam with 100 questions covering key state laws, principles, and practices you'll need to know. And keep an eye on the bottom corner. There's something there that could make a big difference in your prep. We'll tell you how to use it in just a minute. Now let's get started.
Let's begin with a quick review of licensing requirements and procedures. Utah licensing requirements and procedures. What is the minimum age requirement to obtain a real estate license in Utah? Is it A, 18 years old, B, 21 years old, C, 16 years old, or D, 20 years old? The answer is A, 18 years old. In Utah, an applicant must be at least 18 years old to qualify for a real estate license. This age requirement ensures that individuals have reached a level of maturity necessary for professional responsibilities. Which of the following is a requirement for renewing a real estate license in Utah? Is it A, passing a new licensing exam, B, submitting a new background check, C, completing 18 hours of continuing education, or D, paying double the original licensing fee? The answer is C, completing 18 hours of continuing education. To renew a real estate license in Utah, licensees must complete 18 hours of continuing education. This ensures that real estate professionals remain knowledgeable about changes in laws and practices.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsey.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsey, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
How often must a real estate license be renewed in Utah? Is it A, annually, B, every 2 years, C, every 3 years, or D, every 5 years? The answer is B, every 2 years. In Utah, real estate licenses must be renewed every 2 years. This biennial renewal cycle helps maintain up-to-date knowledge and compliance with current regulations. What is the required pre-licensing education for a new real estate agent in Utah? Is it A, 40 hours, B, 60 hours, C, 90 hours, or D, 120 hours? The answer is D, 120 hours. Utah requires 120 hours of pre-licensing education for new real estate agents. This comprehensive training covers essential topics needed to prepare candidates for the licensing exam and their future careers. Continuing education requirements. What is the minimum number of continuing education hours required for a real estate license renewal in Utah? Is it A, 12 hours, B, 15 hours, C, 18 hours, or D, 20 hours? The answer is C, 18 hours. In Utah, real estate licensees must complete 18 hours of continuing education every 2 years, which includes specific mandatory courses. This ensures that professionals stay updated with industry practices and legal changes. Which of the following topics is mandatory in the continuing education curriculum for Utah real estate licensees? Is it A, ethics and professional conduct, B, luxury real estate marketing, C, real estate photography, or D, commercial property management? The answer is A, ethics and professional conduct. Utah requires specific courses on core topics such as ethics, agency, and fair housing as part of the continuing education to ensure licensees are well-versed in crucial legal and ethical standards. How often must Utah real estate licensees renew their licenses and complete continuing education? Is it A, annually, B, every 2 years, C, every 3 years, or D, every 5 years? The answer is B, every 2 years. Utah real estate licenses must be renewed every 2 years. During each renewal cycle, licensees are required to complete continuing education to maintain their knowledge and skills. What is the consequence for a Utah real estate licensee who fails to complete their continuing education before the renewal deadline? Is it A, license placed on inactive status, B, immediate revocation of license, C, a fine without affecting license status, or D, suspension for 1 year? The answer is A, license placed on inactive status. Failure to complete the required continuing education in Utah results in the license being placed on inactive status, prohibiting the licensee from practicing until the requirements are fulfilled. Let's continue with Utah real estate laws and regulations. Utah-specific fair housing laws. What is a key provision of Utah's Fair Housing Act regarding discrimination? Is it A, allows discrimination based on national origin, B, only applies to sales, not rentals, C, prohibits discrimination based on familial status, or D, excludes disability as a protected class? The answer is C, prohibits discrimination based on familial status. Utah's Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, and familial status. This aligns with federal laws but includes state-specific enforcement mechanisms. Which agency is responsible for enforcing fair housing laws in Utah? Is it A, Utah Department of Commerce, B, Utah Anti-Discrimination and Labor Division, C, Federal Housing Administration, or D, Utah Housing Corporation? The answer is B, Utah Anti-Discrimination and Labor Division. The Utah Anti-Discrimination and Labor Division is responsible for enforcing fair housing laws in Utah, ensuring compliance with both state and federal regulations. Under Utah's fair housing laws, which of the following practices is considered discriminatory? Is it A, refusing to rent to a family with children, B, setting a higher rent for all tenants, C, offering discounts to veterans, or D, requiring a security deposit? The answer is A, refusing to rent to a family with children. Refusing to rent to a family because they have children is considered discriminatory under Utah's fair housing laws, as familial status is a protected class. What is a legal exemption under Utah's fair housing laws? Is it A, exemption for all rental properties, B, exemption for properties in rural areas, C, exemption for single-family homes, or D, exemption for owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units? The answer is D, exemption for owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units. Owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units are exempt under Utah's fair housing laws, similar to federal exemptions, allowing owners some discretion in renting. Which of the following is not a protected class under Utah's fair housing laws? Is it A, race, B, disability, C, age, or D, religion? The answer is C, age. Age is not a protected class under Utah's fair housing laws, whereas race, religion, and disability are protected classes. Which of the following actions is prohibited under Utah's fair housing laws regarding advertising? Is it A, using generic terms like family-friendly, B, stating no children allowed, C, describing the property as spacious, or D, mentioning close to public transport? The answer is B, stating no children allowed. Utah's fair housing laws prohibit advertising that indicates any preference, limitation, or discrimination based on protected classes, such as race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsey.
Utah-specific contract requirements. What is the mandatory disclosure requirement for sellers in Utah when entering into a real estate contract? Is it A, environmental hazard report, B, title insurance policy, C, seller property condition disclosure, or D, home warranty offer? The answer is C, seller property condition disclosure. In Utah, sellers must provide a seller property condition disclosure form before closing. This helps buyers understand the property's condition and any known issues, ensuring transparency and informed decision-making. Which of the following is a unique feature of Utah's real estate purchase contract? Is it A, due diligence deadline, B, mortgage contingency clause, C, homeowner association disclosure, or D, flood zone declaration? The answer is A, due diligence deadline. Utah's real estate purchase contract includes a due diligence deadline, allowing buyers to inspect the property and terminate the contract if unsatisfied. This clause is crucial for buyer protection. Under Utah law, how long does a buyer have to cancel a contract after receiving the seller property condition disclosure? Is it A, 1 business day, B, 3 business days, C, 5 business days, or D, 7 business days? The answer is B, 3 business days. Buyers in Utah have 3 business days to cancel a contract after receiving the seller property condition disclosure. This period allows them to review the property's condition and make informed decisions. What is the purpose of the earnest money deposit in a Utah real estate contract? Is it A, to cover closing costs, B, to pay for home inspections, C, to reserve the property, or D, to show buyers' commitment? The answer is D, to show buyers' commitment. The earnest money deposit demonstrates the buyer's commitment to the purchase and is held in escrow. It can be forfeited if the buyer breaches the contract, protecting the seller's interests. In Utah, what must a real estate contract include to be enforceable? Is it A, mutual consent and consideration, B, notarization and witness signatures, C, property appraisal and inspection report, or D, escrow agent and title insurance? The answer is A, mutual consent and consideration. A valid real estate contract in Utah must include mutual consent, lawful object, consideration, and competent parties. These elements ensure the contract is binding and enforceable in court. In Utah, which party is typically responsible for paying the transfer tax in a real estate transaction? Is it A, buyer, B, seller, C, real estate agent, or D, title company? The answer is B, seller. In Utah, the seller is typically responsible for paying the transfer tax. This is generally a negotiable term, but it is customary for sellers to cover this cost in real estate transactions. Overview of Utah real estate statutes. Which entity is responsible for regulating real estate licensees in Utah? Is it A, Utah Division of Real Estate, B, Utah Real Estate Commission, C, Utah Department of Commerce, or D, National Association of Realtors? The answer is A, Utah Division of Real Estate. In Utah, the Division of Real Estate oversees the regulation of real estate professionals. This includes licensing, education requirements, and enforcement of laws to ensure compliance and protect the public. What is the primary purpose of Utah's real estate statutes? Is it A, to increase property taxes, B, to protect the public, C, to promote real estate investment, or D, to standardize property prices? The answer is B, to protect the public. The main objective of Utah's real estate statutes is to protect the public by ensuring real estate professionals adhere to ethical standards and legal requirements, thus maintaining trust in real estate transactions. What is the role of the Utah Division of Real Estate? Is it A, to manage property sales, B, to set property prices, C, to regulate real estate licensees, Or D, to provide legal advice to buyers? The answer is C, to regulate real estate licensees. The Utah Division of Real Estate is responsible for overseeing the licensing and regulation of real estate professionals in Utah, ensuring compliance with state laws and protecting public interest. What is the consequence of practicing real estate without a license in Utah? Is it A, legal penalties, B, increased commission rates, C, mandatory additional training, or D, loss of property ownership? The answer is A, legal penalties. Practicing real estate without a license in Utah is illegal and can result in significant legal penalties, including fines and possible imprisonment, to maintain ethical standards in the industry. How does the Utah Real Estate Commission support ethical practice? Is it A, by setting commission rates, B, by providing loans to agents, C, by offering marketing services, or D, by enforcing ethical standards? The answer is D, by enforcing ethical standards. The Utah Real Estate Commission enforces ethical standards and provides guidance to ensure real estate professionals adhere to laws and regulations, promoting trust and integrity in the industry. Utah property ownership and land use. Types of property ownership, e.g. fee simple, leasehold, joint tenancy. Which type of property ownership allows the owner the most complete set of rights over the land in Utah? Is it A, fee simple, B, leasehold, C, joint tenancy, or D, tenancy in common? The answer is A, fee simple. Fee simple ownership provides the owner with the most comprehensive rights, including the ability to sell, lease, or bequeath the property. It is the highest form of property ownership under Utah law. In Utah, what is a key characteristic of joint tenancy? Is it A, tenants can sell their interest without consent, B, ownership is divided based on contribution, C, right of survivorship, or D, interest can be inherited? The answer is C, right of survivorship. Joint tenancy includes a right of survivorship, meaning if one owner dies, their interest automatically passes to the surviving owners, bypassing probate. What distinguishes a leasehold estate from other types of property ownership in Utah? Is it A, ownership rights are transferred, B, possession for a fixed term, C, includes right of survivorship, or D, ownership is perpetual? The answer is B, possession for a fixed term. A leasehold estate grants possession and use of a property for a specific period under a lease agreement without transferring ownership rights. How does tenancy in common differ from joint tenancy in Utah? Is it A, ownership is equal among all tenants, B, includes automatic survivorship rights, C, requires all tenants to agree on property sales, or D, shares can be inherited by heirs? The answer is D, shares can be inherited by heirs. Tenancy in common allows co-owners to have unequal ownership shares and no right of survivorship, meaning shares can be inherited by heirs. What is a defining feature of a fee simple, defeasible estate in Utah? Is it A, ownership is conditional, B, ownership is perpetual and unconditional, C, includes right of survivorship, or D, cannot be transferred? The answer is A, ownership is conditional. A fee simple, defeasible estate includes conditions that, if violated, can result in the loss of ownership, reverting the property to the original grantor or their heirs. What is a primary characteristic of fee simple ownership in Utah? Is it A, complete control and the ability to transfer the property, B, limited rights with restrictions on transfer, C, ownership for a limited period, or D, shared ownership with survivorship rights? The answer is A, complete control and the ability to transfer the property. Fee simple ownership provides the most comprehensive rights to the property, including the ability to sell, lease, or bequeath the land. It is the most common form of property ownership. Public versus private land use controls. What is the primary purpose of zoning laws in Utah? Is it A, to increase property taxes, B, to regulate land use and development, C, to provide public transportation, or D, to allocate public funds? The answer is B, to regulate land use and development. Zoning laws in Utah are designed to regulate land use and ensure that property development aligns with community goals and safety standards. They help separate incompatible land uses and maintain property values. Which of the following is considered a private land use control in Utah? Is it A, zoning ordinances, B, building codes, C, deed restrictions, or D, environmental regulations? The answer is C, deed restrictions. Private land use controls, such as deed restrictions, are imposed by private parties and can limit how property is used, often to maintain neighborhood standards or property values. In Utah, what is a common public land use control that impacts property development? Is it A, zoning, B, easements, C, covenants, or D, liens? The answer is A, zoning. Zoning is a public land use control that dictates how land in specific areas can be used, affecting property development by determining types of permissible structures and activities. How do building codes serve as a public land use control in Utah? Is it A, by determining property taxes, B, by restricting land ownership, C, by regulating land sales, or D, by ensuring safety in construction? The answer is D, by ensuring safety in construction. Building codes are public land use controls that ensure safety and standardization in construction, protecting public health and welfare by setting minimum standards for materials and construction practices. What role do environmental regulations play in Utah's land use controls? Is it A, they increase property values, B, they protect natural resources, C, they dictate building aesthetics, or D, they control zoning classifications? The answer is B, they protect natural resources. Environmental regulations are public controls that protect natural resources and ensure sustainable development. They limit activities that could harm the environment, influencing land use and property development. Land use and zoning laws. What is the primary purpose of zoning laws in Utah? Is it A, to increase property taxes, B, to restrict property ownership, C, to regulate land use and development, or D, to enforce building codes? The answer is C, to regulate land use and development. Zoning laws in Utah are designed to regulate land use, ensuring orderly development and separation of incompatible uses, such as industrial and residential areas, to promote public welfare and safety. In Utah, what is the purpose of a planned unit development in zoning regulations? Is it A, to restrict developments to single-use zones, B, to increase property taxes in specific areas, C, to allow mixed-use developments with flexible zoning, or D, to eliminate the need for zoning permits? The answer is C, to allow mixed-use developments with flexible zoning. A planned unit development in Utah allows for a mix of residential, commercial, and industrial uses within a single development, providing flexibility and efficient land use. In Utah, what is a variance in the context of zoning laws? Is it A, a change in property ownership, B, an exception to zoning regulations, C, a temporary zoning classification, or D, a government acquisition of land? The answer is B, an exception to zoning regulations. A variance is a legal exception to a zoning ordinance, allowing property use that deviates from zoning requirements, granted when strict adherence would cause unnecessary hardship. How does Utah's conditional use permit differ from a standard zoning permit? Is it A, it is permanent and unchangeable? B, it applies to all properties equally? C, it requires no public hearing? Or D, it allows for specific uses under certain conditions? The answer is D. It allows for specific uses under certain conditions. A conditional use permit allows specific uses that may not be typically permitted under current zoning, subject to conditions that mitigate potential impacts on the surrounding area. Condominiums and HOAs. What is the primary purpose of a homeowners association in a Utah condominium community? Is it A, to provide individual property insurance? B, to manage common areas and enforce community rules? C, to offer legal advice to homeowners? Or D, to handle personal disputes between neighbors? The answer is B, to manage common areas and enforce community rules. In Utah, the HOA is responsible for managing the community's common areas, enforcing rules, and maintaining property values. They ensure that the community's standards are upheld for the benefit of all residents. Which of the following is typically not covered by a condominium association's master insurance policy in Utah? Is it A, building exteriors? B, common areas? C, interior unit damages? Or D, shared amenities? The answer is C, interior unit damages. A condominium association's master insurance policy usually covers common areas and building exteriors, but not individual unit interiors. Owners must have their own insurance for personal property and interior damages. In Utah, what must a condominium developer disclose to prospective buyers before a sale? Is it A, a public offering statement? B, a personal guarantee of property value increase? C, a discounted membership to local amenities? Or D, a detailed history of previous owners? The answer is A, a public offering statement. Utah law requires developers to provide a public offering statement, which includes financial details, rules, and any pending legal actions. This ensures buyers are informed about the community's financial health and regulations. How can a Utah condominium owner participate in the governance of their community? Is it A, by hiring a personal property manager? B, by paying additional fees? C, by filing complaints with the state? Or D, by attending HOA meetings and voting? The answer is D, by attending HOA meetings and voting. Condominium owners can participate by attending HOA meetings, voting on community issues, and potentially serving on the board. This involvement helps ensure their interests are represented in community decisions.
Stuck on a question? Just think of the Birdsey link in the description as your friendly neighborhood superhero, swooping in to save the day with answers. Feel free to explore it now and return to continue. Simply hit pause, and we'll be waiting when you get back.
Environmental issues and water rights. What is the primary purpose of Utah's water rights system? Is it A, to promote recreational use of water bodies? B, to allocate water resources fairly and sustainably? C, to prioritize industrial water needs over agricultural use? Or D, to restrict water use to government projects? The answer is B, to allocate water resources fairly and sustainably. Utah's water rights system ensures that water resources are allocated fairly and sustainably, prioritizing historical use and beneficial purposes. This system helps manage scarce water resources in a growing state. Which of the following best describes a beneficial use in the context of Utah water rights? Is it A, use of water for agriculture or domestic purposes? B, use of water for speculative real estate development? C, use of water without a permit? Or D, use of water solely for aesthetic landscaping? The answer is A, use of water for agriculture or domestic purposes. Beneficial use is a key principle in Utah water law, emphasizing that water must be used for a productive purpose like agriculture or domestic use, ensuring efficient resource management. What is a key environmental concern related to property development in Utah? Is it A, increased urban noise pollution, B, depletion of mineral resources, C, impact on wetlands and natural habitats, or D, expansion of transportation infrastructure? The answer is C, impact on wetlands and natural habitats. Wetland protection is crucial in Utah, as these areas support biodiversity and water quality. Development can threaten these habitats, necessitating careful planning and environmental assessments. How does Utah law prioritize water rights during times of scarcity? Is it A, by prioritizing urban over rural water needs, B, by allocating equal water shares to all users, C, by government intervention to allocate resources, or D, by the first-in-time, first-in-right principle? The answer is D, by the first-in-time, first-in-right principle. Utah follows the principle of first-in-time, first-in-right, giving priority to older water rights during shortages. This system ensures that long-standing rights are respected even in drought conditions. Now, let's take a look at Utah agency law and ethics. Agency relationship laws. What is a key responsibility of a Utah real estate agent when representing a buyer in a transaction? Is it A, disclose the seller's personal information, B, act in the best interest of the buyer, C, negotiate only as instructed by the seller, or D, provide legal advice on contract terms? The answer is B, act in the best interest of the buyer. In Utah, a real estate agent must act in the best interest of their client, which includes providing honest and accurate information and avoiding conflicts of interest. Under Utah law, when must a real estate agent disclose their agency relationship to a prospective client? Is it A, at the first substantive contact, B, after an offer is made, C, during the closing process, or D, only if the client asks? The answer is A, at the first substantive contact. Utah law requires that agency relationships be disclosed at the first substantive contact to ensure transparency and prevent conflicts of interest. How does dual agency affect the fiduciary duties of a real estate agent in Utah? Is it A, it enhances the agent's ability to negotiate, B, it has no effect on fiduciary duties, C, it limits the agent's ability to advocate fully for either party, or D, it requires the agent to disclose all confidential information? The answer is C. It limits the agent's ability to advocate fully for either party. In dual agency, a real estate agent represents both parties in a transaction, which can limit their ability to fully advocate for either side due to potential conflicts of interest. What is the primary purpose of the agency disclosure form in Utah real estate transactions? Is it A, to finalize the sale agreement, B, to provide a legal description of the property, C, to calculate the agent's commission, or D, to clarify the nature of the agent-client relationship? The answer is D, to clarify the nature of the agent-client relationship. The agency disclosure form is used to clarify the nature of the agent-client relationship and ensure all parties are aware of the agent's duties and responsibilities. Fiduciary duties and client representation. In Utah, which fiduciary duty requires an agent to disclose all material facts to their client? Is it A, duty of disclosure, B, duty of loyalty, C, duty of confidentiality, or D, duty of obedience? The answer is A, duty of disclosure. The duty of disclosure obligates agents to inform clients of all material facts that could influence their decisions. This ensures clients make informed choices based on comprehensive information. What fiduciary duty is violated when an agent shares a client's financial information without consent? Is it A, duty of loyalty, B, duty of care, C, duty of confidentiality, or D, duty of obedience? The answer is C, duty of confidentiality. The duty of confidentiality is breached when an agent discloses a client's financial details without permission, as it involves protecting the client's private information from unauthorized access. Which fiduciary duty ensures that an agent acts in the best interest of their client, even at the cost of their personal gain? Is it A, duty of care, B, duty of loyalty, C, duty of disclosure, or D, duty of accounting? The answer is B, duty of loyalty. The duty of loyalty mandates that agents prioritize their clients' interests above their own, avoiding conflicts of interest and ensuring the client's needs come first. A Utah real estate agent fails to inform a client about a significant zoning change affecting a property. Which fiduciary duty has been breached? Is it A, duty of loyalty, B, duty of care, C, duty of confidentiality, or D, duty of disclosure? The answer is D, duty of disclosure. The duty of disclosure is breached when an agent fails to inform a client about important changes, like zoning, that could impact the property's value or use. Utah Ethics Guidelines and Enforcement. What is the primary purpose of the Utah Division of Real Estate's enforcement actions? Is it A, to increase state revenue through fines, B, to promote competition among real estate professionals, C, to protect the public by ensuring compliance with laws, or D, to provide education to real estate professionals? The answer is C, to protect the public by ensuring compliance with laws. The Utah Division of Real Estate enforces actions to protect the public by ensuring that real estate professionals adhere to ethical and legal standards, thus maintaining trust in the real estate market. Which of the following actions can lead to disciplinary measures under Utah Ethics Guidelines? Is it A, offering a competitive commission rate, B, failing to disclose a conflict of interest, C, advertising properties on multiple platforms, or D, providing clients with market analysis? The answer is B, failing to disclose a conflict of interest. Failing to disclose a conflict of interest can lead to disciplinary measures as it compromises the integrity and trust required in real estate transactions. What is a key responsibility of a principal broker under Utah agency law? Is it A, supervising the activities of their agents, B, setting commission rates for the industry, C, providing legal advice to clients, or D, appraising property values? The answer is A, supervising the activities of their agents. A principal broker is responsible for supervising the real estate activities of their agents to ensure compliance with laws and regulations, maintaining accountability for the brokerage's actions. Under Utah Ethics Guidelines, what is the consequence of misrepresenting property information? Is it A, increased sales opportunities, B, enhanced reputation in the market, C, higher commission earnings, or D, disciplinary actions such as fines or suspension? The answer is D, disciplinary actions such as fines or suspension. Misrepresenting property information can result in disciplinary actions such as fines, suspension, or revocation of a real estate license, as it undermines trust and violates ethical standards. Let's continue with Utah property valuation. Basic principles of property valuation. What is the primary purpose of conducting a property valuation in Utah? Is it A, to determine the market value of a property, B, to assess the historical significance of a property, C, to evaluate the structural integrity of a building, or D, to estimate the future appreciation of property value? The answer is A, To determine the market value of a property, property valuation in Utah is primarily used to determine the market value of a property, which is crucial for transactions, taxation, and financing purposes. Accurate valuations ensure fair market practices. Which principle of property valuation is concerned with the relationship between supply and demand? Is it A, principle of substitution, B, principle of supply and demand, C, principle of anticipation, or D, principle of conformity? The answer is B, principle of supply and demand. The principle of supply and demand affects property values based on the availability of properties and the desire of buyers. Higher demand with limited supply typically increases property values. How does the principle of conformity affect property valuation? Is it A, by encouraging diversity in property styles, B, by increasing property taxes in similar areas, C, by promoting unique architectural designs, or D, by ensuring properties are similar in style and use? The answer is D, by ensuring properties are similar in style and use. The principle of conformity suggests that property values are maximized when they are consistent with the surrounding properties. This uniformity can enhance the overall appeal and value of a neighborhood. What does the principle of substitution imply in property valuation? Is it A, properties must be identical to have equal value, B, a property's value is based on its historical cost, C, a property's value is influenced by the cost of similar alternatives, or D, a property depreciates over time regardless of market conditions? The answer is C, a property's value is influenced by the cost of similar alternatives. The principle of substitution implies that a property's value is determined by the cost of acquiring an equally desirable substitute property, assuming no undue delays in the process. Sales comparison cost and income approaches. Which approach to property valuation is most appropriate when valuing a new home in a rapidly developing Utah neighborhood? Is it A, sales comparison approach, B, cost approach, C, income approach, or D, market analysis approach? The answer is B, cost approach. The cost approach is ideal for new constructions as it estimates the value by calculating the cost to replace or reproduce the property minus depreciation plus land value. What is the primary limitation of the sales comparison approach in property valuation? Is it A, it requires complex calculations, B, it is not applicable to income-generating properties, C, it relies on the availability of comparable sales data, or D, it does not consider land value? The answer is C, it relies on the availability of comparable sales data. The sales comparison approach is limited by the availability of recent and similar property sales, which can be scarce in unique or rapidly changing markets. In the income approach to property valuation, what does the capitalization rate represent? Is it A, the expected rate of return on a property, B, the property's annual gross income, C, the cost of replacing the property, or D, the average market value of similar properties? The answer is A, the expected rate of return on a property. The capitalization rate, or cap rate, reflects the investor's expected rate of return on a property, calculated by dividing the net operating income by the property's current market value. Which factor is least likely to be considered in the cost approach to property valuation? Is it A, reproduction costs, B, depreciation, C, land value, or D, historical sales data? The answer is D, historical sales data. Historical sales data is not typically considered in the cost approach, which focuses on current construction costs and land value, not past sales transactions.
Notice the code in the corner? When you're stumped by a question, enter it at birdsey.ai for immediate help. Enjoy complimentary study sessions and access to hundreds of additional questions to help you pass your exam with confidence.
Now, we'll test your understanding of Utah real estate financing. Mortgage loans and financing options. What is the primary purpose of a Utah FHA loan? Is it A, to assist first-time homebuyers with lower down payments? B, to provide luxury home financing? C, to offer investment property loans? Or D, to refinance high-interest credit cards? The answer is A, to assist first-time homebuyers with lower down payments. FHA loans are designed to help first-time homebuyers or those with less than perfect credit by providing lower down payment options and more flexible credit requirements. Which of the following is a characteristic of a VA loan in Utah? Is it A, requires a minimum 20% down payment? B, available to all homebuyers regardless of military status? C, no private mortgage insurance required? Or D, limited to properties under $100,000? The answer is C, no private mortgage insurance required. VA loans offer benefits like no down payment and no private mortgage insurance for eligible veterans, making them a favorable option for those who qualify. In Utah, what is the main advantage of a fixed-rate mortgage? Is it A, lower initial interest rates? B, interest rates that adjust with the market? C, shorter loan terms? Or D, consistent monthly payments? The answer is D, consistent monthly payments. Fixed-rate mortgages provide stability with consistent monthly payments, which helps borrowers plan their finances without worrying about fluctuating interest rates. What is a key feature of a USDA loan available in rural areas of Utah? Is it A, requires a high credit score? B, offers 100% financing? C, limited to urban properties? Or D, only available for commercial properties? The answer is B, offers 100% financing. USDA loans offer 100% financing options for eligible rural properties, making homeownership more accessible to low to moderate income families in rural areas. Loan applications and approval processes. What is the maximum loan-to-value ratio allowed for conventional loans in Utah? Is it A, 70%, B, 75%, C, 80%, or D, 85%? The answer is C, 80%. In Utah, the maximum LTV ratio for conventional loans is typically 80%. This means borrowers can finance up to 80% of the property's value, requiring a 20% down payment. Which document is primarily used to verify a borrower's income during the loan application process in Utah? Is it A, credit report, B, appraisal report, C, bank statement, or D, W-2 form? The answer is D, W-2 form. A W-2 form is primarily used to verify a borrower's income, as it provides detailed information on wages and taxes withheld, essential for assessing loan eligibility. In Utah, what is the primary purpose of a loan estimate during the loan application process? Is it A, to finalize the loan terms? B, to provide a summary of loan costs? C, to verify the borrower's credit score? Or D, to appraise the property's value? The answer is B, to provide a summary of loan costs. A loan estimate provides borrowers with important details about the loan, including estimated interest rates, monthly payments, and closing costs, helping them compare different loan offers. Which factor is most likely to affect a borrower's debt-to-income ratio in Utah? Is it A, monthly debt payments, B, property value, C, employment history, or D, loan term? The answer is A, monthly debt payments. Monthly debt payments, such as loans and credit card obligations, directly impact the DTI ratio, which measures the borrower's ability to manage monthly payments and repay debts. Utah Mortgage Disclosure Requirements. What is the primary purpose of the Utah Mortgage Disclosure Requirements? Is it A, to ensure borrowers are fully informed about their mortgage terms and costs? B, to protect lenders from potential litigation? C, to standardize mortgage interest rates across all lenders? Or D, to eliminate all fees associated with mortgage processing? The answer is A, to ensure borrowers are fully informed about their mortgage terms and costs. The Utah Mortgage Disclosure Requirements are designed to ensure that borrowers receive all necessary information about their mortgage, allowing them to make informed decisions. This includes details about loan terms, costs, and potential risks. Which document is required under Utah law to disclose the true cost of a mortgage to a borrower? Is it A, good faith estimate? B, truth in lending disclosure statement? C, loan estimate form? Or D, mortgage servicing disclosure statement? The answer is B, truth in lending disclosure statement. The truth in lending disclosure statement must be provided to borrowers detailing the true cost of their mortgage, including interest rates, fees, and the total amount payable over the loan's life. When must the initial mortgage disclosure be provided to a borrower in Utah? Is it A, within 24 hours of application? B, within 1 week of application? C, within 3 business days of application? Or D, before the loan closing date? The answer is C, within 3 business days of application. In Utah, the initial mortgage disclosure must be provided within 3 business days of receiving a mortgage application. This requirement ensures borrowers receive timely information to review and understand their mortgage terms. Which of the following is a key component that must be included in Utah's mortgage disclosures? Is it A, the borrower's credit score? B, the property's market value? C, the lender's profit margin? Or D, the annual percentage rate? The answer is D, the annual percentage rate. The annual percentage rate is a critical component of mortgage disclosures. It represents the cost of borrowing on an annual basis, including interest and fees, helping borrowers compare different loan offers. Utah-specific loan programs. Which Utah-specific loan program is designed to assist first-time homebuyers with down payment and closing cost assistance? Is it A, Utah Rural Development Loan? B, Utah Veterans Home Loan? C, Utah Housing Corporation First Home Loan? Or D, Utah Community Reinvestment Loan? The answer is C, Utah Housing Corporation First Home Loan. The Utah Housing Corporation First Home Loan Program offers down payment and closing cost assistance to first-time homebuyers, making it easier for them to afford a home purchase. What is a key feature of the Utah Housing Corporation's Score Loan Program? Is it A, accommodates lower credit scores? B, requires no down payment? C, offers 0 interest rates? Or D, only available for rural properties? The answer is A, accommodates lower credit scores. The Score Loan Program provides an option for borrowers with lower credit scores, offering more accessible financing solutions to those who may not qualify for traditional loans. How does the Utah Housing Corporation's No My Loan benefit homebuyers? Is it A, provides a fixed interest rate? B, eliminates mortgage insurance? C, offers grants for home improvements? Or D, focuses on energy-efficient homes? The answer is B, eliminates mortgage insurance. The No My Loan program benefits homebuyers by eliminating the need for mortgage insurance, thereby reducing monthly payments and making homeownership more affordable. What type of properties are eligible for the Utah Housing Corporation's First Home Loan Program? Is it A, only single-family homes? B, only townhomes? C. Only condos, or D. Single-family homes, townhomes, and condos? The answer is D. Single-family homes, townhomes, and condos. The First Home Loan Program is available for single-family homes, townhomes, and condos, providing flexibility for first-time homebuyers in selecting their desired type of residence. Utah Housing and Community Development Division. What is the primary purpose of the Utah Housing and Community Development Division? Is it A, to regulate real estate transactions in Utah, B, to enhance housing stability and community development, C, to enforce housing safety standards, or D, to manage state-owned properties? The answer is B, to enhance housing stability and community development. The Utah Housing and Community Development Division aims to improve the quality of life by supporting housing stability, community development, and economic opportunities for Utah residents. Which program is administered by the Utah Housing and Community Development Division to assist low-income families? Is it A, Utah First-Time Homebuyer Program, B, Utah Housing Corporation Loan Program, C, Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund, or D, Utah Rental Assistance Program? The answer is C, Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund. The Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund is administered to provide affordable housing solutions for low-income families, supporting community development and economic stability. How does the Utah Housing and Community Development Division contribute to economic development? Is it A, by funding affordable housing and community projects, B, by regulating commercial real estate transactions, C, by offering tax incentives to businesses, or D, by providing mortgage loans to all residents? The answer is A, by funding affordable housing and community projects. The division contributes by supporting affordable housing and community development projects that stimulate local economies and create job opportunities, enhancing economic growth. What role does the Utah Housing and Community Development Division play in disaster recovery? Is it A, enforcing building codes post-disaster, B, providing emergency medical services, C, distributing food and water supplies, or D, offering housing solutions and resources? The answer is D, offering housing solutions and resources. The division aids in disaster recovery by providing housing solutions and resources to rebuild communities, helping residents recover and stabilize after disasters. Let's continue with a review of Utah disclosure requirements and forms. Utah-specific disclosure requirements. What is the primary purpose of the seller's property condition disclosure form in Utah? Is it A, to determine the property's market value, B, to disclose known property defects to potential buyers, C, to verify the property's tax assessment, or D, to record the buyer's inspection findings? The answer is B, to disclose known property defects to potential buyers. The seller's property condition disclosure form is designed to inform potential buyers of any known issues with the property, ensuring transparency and reducing the risk of future disputes. When must the lead-based paint disclosure form be provided in a Utah real estate transaction? Is it A, for all properties regardless of age, B, only for properties built after 2000, C, for properties built before 1978, or D, for commercial properties only? The answer is C, for properties built before 1978. The lead-based paint disclosure form is required for properties built before 1978 to inform buyers about potential lead paint hazards as mandated by federal law. Which entity primarily enforces the real estate purchase contract disclosures in Utah? Is it A, Utah Division of Real Estate, B, Utah Department of Commerce, C, Federal Trade Commission, or D, local city councils? The answer is A, Utah Division of Real Estate. The Utah Division of Real Estate oversees the enforcement of REPC disclosures to ensure compliance with state regulations and protect consumer interests in real estate transactions. What must a Utah seller disclose regarding water rights in a real estate transaction? Is it A, only if the property is agricultural? B, only if the property has a well? C, water rights are not required to be disclosed? Or D, any water rights associated with the property? The answer is D, any water rights associated with the property. Sellers must disclose any water rights associated with the property to inform buyers about usage rights, which can significantly affect property value and utility. Commonly used Utah forms. What is the primary purpose of the Utah Seller's Property Condition Disclosure Form? Is it A, to determine the market value of the property? B, to disclose known defects or issues with the property? C, to outline the terms of the sale agreement? Or D, to provide a history of ownership? The answer is B, to disclose known defects or issues with the property. The Utah Seller's Property Condition Disclosure Form is designed to inform potential buyers of any known defects or issues with the property, ensuring transparency and reducing the risk of future disputes. Which form is commonly used in Utah to disclose the presence of lead-based paint in homes built before 1978? Is it A, Property Condition Disclosure? B, Environmental Hazards Disclosure? C, Lead-based paint disclosure? Or D, Natural hazards disclosure? The answer is C, lead-based paint disclosure. The lead-based paint disclosure form is required for homes built before 1978 to inform buyers of potential lead hazards, complying with federal regulations, and ensuring buyer awareness. In Utah, what is the primary function of the buyer due diligence checklist? Is it A, to help buyers identify and investigate potential property issues? B, to negotiate the final purchase price? C, to finalize the mortgage application? Or D, to schedule property inspections? The answer is A, to help buyers identify and investigate potential property issues. The buyer due diligence checklist helps buyers identify and investigate potential issues with a property, ensuring informed decisions and minimizing risks associated with the purchase. Which Utah form is used to detail the terms and conditions of a real estate purchase agreement? Is it A, Seller's Property Disclosure? B, Lead-based paint disclosure? C, Buyer's due diligence checklist? Or D, Real estate purchase contract? The answer is D, Real estate purchase contract. The real estate purchase contract is used in Utah to outline the terms and conditions of a real estate transaction, including price, contingencies, and closing details. Specific procedures for transactions. What is the primary purpose of the Seller's Property Condition Disclosure Form in Utah transactions? Is it A, to provide a legal description of the property? B, to disclose known defects and conditions of the property? C, to outline the terms of the sale agreement? Or D, to certify the property's market value? The answer is B, to disclose known defects and conditions of the property. The Seller's Property Condition Disclosure Form is used to inform potential buyers of the condition of the property, including any known defects or issues. It ensures transparency and helps prevent future disputes. Which party is responsible for providing the lead-based paint disclosure in transactions involving properties built before 1978? Is it A, the seller? B, the buyer? C, the real estate agent? Or D, the home inspector? The answer is A, the seller. In transactions involving properties built before 1978, the seller is required by federal law to provide a lead-based paint disclosure to inform buyers about potential lead hazards. In Utah, what is a key requirement for a valid real estate transaction disclosure? Is it A, it must be notarized, B, it must be verbal, C, it must be in writing, or D, it must include a property appraisal? The answer is C, it must be in writing. A valid disclosure must be made in writing, ensuring that all parties have a clear and documented understanding of the property's condition and any known issues. What is the consequence if a seller in Utah fails to provide the required property disclosures before closing? Is it A, the buyer must proceed with the sale, B, the sale automatically becomes void, C, the seller can provide disclosures after closing, or D, the buyer may withdraw from the contract or seek damages? The answer is D, the buyer may withdraw from the contract or seek damages. Failure to provide required disclosures can lead to legal consequences, including the potential for the buyer to withdraw from the contract or seek damages for non-disclosure.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit birdsey.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsey, your AI-powered study partner.